Hello everybody, this is Gareth Cahoon Speaks back here with another video. Sorry that I wasn't here over the last few days, but was had a wee trip to hospital to get my pump filled, so I'll be back at it today. Uh, I'd like you to hit the subscribe bar, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, or hit the notification bell to be notified when I post my next post. Or otherwise, you could donate to my ministry and the charities that I support at at garethcahoon3 at gmail.com on PayPal. This one here is about prayers and protests outside High Court as 1.3 million protected immigrants face uncertain fate. The US Supreme Court recently heard arguments in a case where the Trump administration wants to terminate temporary protected status of TPS for nearly 3,500 Haitian nationals. That's led a number of faith leaders to stand in support of these immigrants, praying they'll be allowed to stay in America. As justices reviewed the case, demonstrators gathered outside singing, praying, and listening to speeches in support of the people from the 17 countries currently designated for temporary protected status. Mona Lisa Ferrari, a Haitian American in New York, works with immigrants and refugees designated as temporary protected status. She said, "We are hoping today that the law would actually be in our favour, that the Constitution would be in our favour." The Supreme Court decided to hear the case after lower courts blocked former Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem from revoking the TPS protections. Those courts found the terminations to be racially discriminatory. They cited, among other things, how 2024 Republican nominee Donald Trump pushed false claims that Haitians in Springfield, Ohio had eaten the cats and dogs of local residents. Some residents of Ohio travelled to the Supreme Court to share their concerns and to show support for the Haitian immigrants. Ohio resident Yola Lamara can explain Springfield residents are actually going to City Hall and talking about the contributions of Haitians. The governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine, has said it himself that if it wasn't for Haitians, we wouldn't see Springfield as a revitalised economy. Throughout Springfield, faith leaders have held church services and social gatherings for Americans and Haitians to worship together and to build bridges of unity. Pastor Carl Ruby of Central Christian Church says, "For me, caring for immigrants and for refugees is not just an add-on to my faith, it's the centre of my faith." Cindy Lennon lives near Springfield, Ohio. She welcomes the Haitian migrants. They have contributed, had jobs, are paying taxes, and just overall are very good citizens. And a group I have been involved with is called G92. G is for Jer, which is a Hebrew word for stranger or immigrant, and it's mentioned 92 times in the Bible, and how God, the Bible, and Yeshua tells us to be good to immigrants. Advocates and immigrants remain concerned about a decision that would send people back to dangerous situations. Mona Lisa Ferrari said it is safe to go back to Haiti. Absolutely, positively not. A final decision is expected in late June or early July. It could affect nearly 1.3 million people living in the US under temporary protected status from 17 different countries. If the court sides with the administration, many of them could lose their protection and face the risk of deportation. Um, As a Christian, the Bible tells us that we're to look after the strangers, the widows, and the orphans. But it doesn't say anything about illegal aliens and them coming and abusing the system. There is a grey area here. Haitians are generally very decent people and a higher class of immigrants. But if you're talking, on the other hand, of the Somali immigrants and the Pakistani immigrants, they're very different stories. So it's a difficult one, this, because of how many illegal migrants have travelled to the United States under the Biden administration in a ploy for them to get a permanent voting base. And there's nothing right about that either. In my country, the United Kingdom, we've been overrun. In fact, the local elections in the United Kingdom the other day looked like there were shilling for Palestine and what was going on there more than who's putting the bins out, who's giving you your utilities and your services and the cost of them. No, it was all about free Palestine. The first sectarian election process that's happened in the UK. They were speaking in Urdu, and there was one man who was elected for Labour who didn't even have a visa to be in the country. These are the things that need rectified. And unfortunately, there will be some people that will have to leave our countries before we are overrun with illegals in our nations. I'm totally fine with people who want to come here and work and do a hard day's work and add to the nation. But for the grifters and the grinders and the rapists and the terrorists to come, we don't want them. We certainly don't need them, and they've got to go. And this is what Keir Starmer needs to get through to his thick head, that the country has changed and it's no longer a Labour stronghold or indeed a Conservative stronghold, for the nation has moved to the centre right, and it's about time too. Shalom, Maranatha, Hallelujah.